The Silent Extinction, Countries That Will Disappear by 2100. Welcome back. I'm Adeline Atlas, 11-time published author, and this is the Depopulation series, Are We the Last Biological Humans? In this video, we're going to examine a phenomenon that is already unfolding quietly across the globe, the demographic decline of entire nations. While media narratives often focus on short-term political shifts or economic fluctuations, a far more permanent transformation is taking place beneath the surface. Some countries are not just shrinking, they're vanishing. The term silent extinction may sound dramatic, but it's demographically accurate. Today, more than 20 countries have total fertility rates below 1.3, what demographers call the ultra-low fertility threshold. Once a nation falls below this line, recovery becomes highly unlikely without radical intervention. The result is a population that halves in size each century, or faster. And without a working age base to sustain the system, the nation begins to unravel. Let's begin with the numbers. As of 2024, South Korea holds the record for the world's lowest fertility rate, 0.72 children per woman. That's not a typo. It's not even close to the replacement rate of 2.1. It means that every 100 South Korean women will collectively produce only 72 daughters, and so on. Over generations, this leads to exponential population collapse. Government efforts to reverse the trend, through subsidies, parental leave, cash payments, have failed to move the needle. In Seoul, kindergartens are closing permanently. School districts are merging or vanishing. Some universities have shut their doors due to a lack of incoming students. In Taiwan, the story is similar. Fertility rates have hovered around 1.0 for the past 2 decades. The government has issued increasingly desperate financial incentives, offered matchmaking services, and launched public campaigns promoting parenthood. Yet the trend persists. Economic pressure, housing costs, work culture, and shifting social values have made traditional family formation nearly obsolete for younger generations. The island's future demographics paint a sobering picture. Millions fewer citizens, skyrocketing elder-to-worker ratios, and entire towns facing depopulation. Italy and Spain are not far behind. Italy's fertility rate fell to 1.2 in 2023, despite aggressive family subsidy programs. In many regions, rural communities are disappearing. Churches stand empty. Schools have more teachers than students. Young adults have delayed or abandoned childbearing altogether, citing career precarity, cultural disillusionment, and a lack of familial support structures. In Spain, nearly 30% of women born in the 1980s remain childless, a record high. As fertility falls and life expectancy rises, these nations are aging rapidly without replacement. These aren't abstract statistics. They translate into concrete, irreversible outcomes. When births decline, schools close. When young families disappear, the housing market deflates, not from lack of supply, but lack of demand. Entire regions become ghost zones, areas where the infrastructure remains, but the people don't. This isn't war, it isn't disaster, it's demographic erosion, a slow fade to silence. Let's now take a closer look at Japan, the poster child for ultra-low fertility and demographic collapse. Since the 1990s, Japan has experienced a sustained population decline, with current fertility rates around 1.3 and falling. The country now sells more adult diapers than baby diapers. 1 in every 10 homes is abandoned. The government has coined the term akiya to describe these vacant properties, over 8 million of them as of the latest count. Entire villages have vanished. Some towns have offered homes for free, literally giving away real estate, just to lure in young families. Others have introduced tax breaks, education subsidies, and even robotics to supplement shrinking human labor. But nothing has reversed the trend. In Japan's rural prefectures, the average age now exceeds 60. Elementary schools operate with classrooms of 3 or 4 students. In some cases, there is only 1 child in an entire grade. Local businesses shutter. Hospitals close. Public transportation is reduced or eliminated. It becomes a loop of decline. Fewer people mean fewer services, and fewer services drive more people away. Japan's government has turned to automation. Robot caregivers are now used in elder care facilities. AI systems manage supply chains and small business operations. But even this techno-fix only delays the inevitable. A country cannot run on machines alone. You need people, for community, for continuity, for culture. This brings us to a critical point. Demographic collapse is not just an economic issue, it's a civilizational one. What happens to identity, memory, and legacy when there's no one left to carry it forward? Consider the cultural consequences. Fewer children mean fewer inheritors of language, religion, and tradition. Dialects die, festivals fade, history goes unlearned. Japan, for instance, has lost over 200 traditional festivals due to lack of youth participation. In Italy, ancient crafts are disappearing because apprentices no longer exist. In Spain, religious processions grow smaller each year. These are not just nostalgic losses. They are structural erosions of cultural cohesion. The long-term implications are staggering. A nation that loses its young loses its future. It cannot sustain its military, its industry, its healthcare, or its pensions. Its political base shrinks, its innovation stalls, and eventually, its sovereignty is at risk, not through invasion, but through attrition. Let's now return to the phrase, countries that will disappear. It's not an exaggeration. It's already happening. In South Korea, over 130 towns and villages have reported 0 births in recent years. In parts of Italy, municipalities have formally dissolved due to lack of residents. They no longer function. In Japan, some islands are now completely uninhabited, formerly thriving communities that no longer exist. By 2100, the United Nations low-variant projection shows that countries like Bulgaria, Latvia, and Ukraine could lose more than half their population. Even with immigration, the cultural core of these nations, language, tradition, family structure, may erode past the point of recovery. What happens when a nation ceases to be a people and becomes only a place? This is not just a regional issue. It is global. China, the most populous country in the world, is now facing its own demographic cliff. After decades of the one-child policy, the fertility rate has dropped below 1.2. In 2022, China's population shrank for the first time in over 60 years. By 2050, they are projected to lose 400 million citizens. That's more than the entire population of the United States. This is not a glitch. It's the trajectory. And while many argue that immigration can solve the issue, that theory has limits. Countries that receive large influxes of migrants may delay demographic decline, but not stop it. And if global fertility continues to fall, as it is now, there will soon be fewer migrants available. The problem becomes universal. We must also consider how governments will respond. In some cases, we are already seeing attempts to manage population collapse through artificial reproduction. IVF subsidies, embryo banks, and artificial womb prototypes are no longer fringe experiments. They are now part of national planning. But here lies the ethical dilemma. If natural birth becomes rare and nations turn to manufacturing reproduction, who controls that process? Who decides how many children are made and for whom? What happens to individuality, autonomy, and consent? A state that cannot inspire birth may attempt to engineer it. And that is the inflection point we are rapidly approaching. The silent extinction of nations is not loud. There are no headlines, no dramatic collapses, just empty schools, quiet towns, abandoned homes, fewer weddings, fewer babies, and eventually, no one left to remember what came before. The depopulation of biological humans is not just a question of numbers, it's a question of continuity. What survives when a nation fades? The land remains. The buildings may stand. But the stories, the essence of a people, require breath, require bodies, require births. If we are serious about preserving culture, identity, and civilization itself, we must take demographic collapse seriously, not just as an economic issue, but as a human one. The extinction of a species doesn't always come from violence. Sometimes it comes from silence, from forgetting, from not being born, and that is the crisis now quietly consuming the world. Hi, I am Adeline Atlas, 11 times published author, and SOS, School of Soul has a brand new series, the AI and Future Technology series. Look, you know the world is changing, and no, it's not going back to normal. Normal is over, and what's coming next is beyond anything we were prepared for. The School of Soul, AI and Future Technology series includes 319 videos on 1. The Download Society, How Data Has Replaced Destiny. 2. Predictive Future. Your next moves aren't random, they're forecasted. 3. Social Credit Systems. The behavioral economy now governs access. 4. Hive mind. Synthetic telepathy and collective algorithmic control. 5. Nanobots inside you. Medical, military, and programmable intrusions. 6. Grief tech. AI-fueled digital resurrection and simulated comfort. 7. Uploading your mind, consciousness transfer, and data-based identity. 8. Deep fakes plus AI clones. The replication of reality and identity theft. 9. Quantum humans. The merger of biology with quantum systems. 10. Digital afterlife, where your data goes when you die. 11. Resurrection science, reviving life through synthetic methods. 12. Immortal science, the end of death as we know it. 13. Longevity science, gene editing, anti-aging, and bio upgrades. 14. Designer babies, engineered perfection before birth. 15. Artificial wombs, birth decoupled from the female body. 16. 3D printing, printing organs, limbs, and even humans. 17. The humanoid era, the rise of synthetic beings among us. 18. Legacy humans, the slow phase-out of unmodified analog people. 19. Smart cities, algorithmic environments that watch and decide. 20. Cloud-based societies, citizenship without borders or bodies. 21. Hackable humans, emotion, memory, and behavior under code. 22. Biometric scanning, your body is your password and your prison. 23. Sex tech, intimacy reprogrammed by machines. 24. Extinction of gender, fluidity, deletion, and design of identity. Every topic is fully explored with real-world technologies, patents, case studies, ethical analysis, and future forecasts. These aren't someday discussions. This is already happening. Join the SOS School of Soul Vault to overstand the future before it's implemented on you.